The first thing the galaxy lost was trust. It didn't vanish in a blaze of war, but in the quiet ink of treaties. Treaties signed, celebrated, and secretly weaponized by one man, Archon Serix Vale, ruler of the Crownward Expanse. Vale was a master of acquisition. He never conquered worlds, he collected them. He offered protection from dangers he himself had created, wrapping entire systems in a gilded cage of security. By the time the galaxy realized the pattern, the bars were already locked. Captain Nina Varela knew the pattern better than anyone. She had once been Vale's envoy, selling his brand of peace with a warm smile and a hand on a hidden blade. When she finally saw the truth and defected, the Crownward branded her a traitor. When she survived their assassins, they dismissed her as a myth. But myths have a way of becoming real when the stakes are high enough. Now she stood on the fractured moon of Irix 9, attending a secret meeting that no sane species would dare to trust. Around her gathered the last hopes of a dying galaxy. There were the Krelli, strange silicon-based lifeforms who communicated not with words, but through the pure vibration of harmonic resonance. There were the Marrowspawn, pale nomads engineered for the deep void, their bodies a chilling tapestry of flesh and biotech. And towering over them all was Ashael of the Sunmane, a Griffid. The Griffids were a magnificent, tragic species, a hybrid of leonine strength and avian grace, with wings that could eclipse a shuttle. They lived by a strict honor code, a code Vale had twisted and used against them. He manipulated them into defending his territory, then condemned them as expendable when the fighting got tough. Ashael was a survivor of that betrayal. His once golden mane was scorched a permanent silver. His powerful wings bore fractures that would never fully heal, a constant reminder of his people's sacrifice. He spoke, his voice a low rumble. "We gather," Ashael said, "because extinction is patient, and our time is running out." Their objective was as simple as it was impossible: destroy the Crown Engine. This wasn't just a machine. It was Vale's ultimate weapon of control. A vast neural network that could predict rebellion before it even formed, allowing him to crush dissent before a single revolutionary thought could take root. Entire cultures had been erased from existence for crimes they hadn't yet committed. The engine didn't just enforce order. It erased choice itself. But betrayal, it seemed, was the only currency left in the galaxy. Before the meeting could even conclude, one of the Krulli transmitted their coordinates to Vale's fleet in a desperate bid for immunity. The sky above Irix 9 turned black as Crownward warships descended like a closing fist. Chaos erupted. Vale, with the flick of a switch, activated dormant control codes buried deep within the Marrowspawn's genetic makeup. The pale nomads turned on each other in a horrifying frenzy of programmed self-destruction. The Krelli, their collective mind under attack, fractured into discordant, screaming frequencies, their beautiful harmony shattering into agonizing noise. Through it all, Ashael took to the sky. He fought in brutal, focused silence, a storm of claws and fury. He ripped enemy fighters from the air, his talons tearing through metal hulls, his beak piercing cockpits. He was a living embodiment of his people's broken honor, fighting a war that was already lost. Amidst the carnage, Nina Varela slipped through the lines. She fought her way through the guards, her movements precise and deadly, a ghost from Vale's past come to haunt him. She reached the heart of the fortress, the chamber of the Crown Engine, alone. And there, bathed in its cold, pulsing light, Vale was waiting for her. He looked entirely calm, as if greeting an old friend. "You know, you were the one who taught me that fear is an inefficient tool of governance," he said, his voice smooth as polished steel. "So I simply removed it." "You didn't remove fear," Nina shot back, her weapon steady. "You removed choice." Vale offered a thin, chilling smile. "Choice leads to collapse." "I have brought stability." The Crown Engine hummed around them. A living, breathing entity, calculating 10,000 possible futures every second. In that moment, Nina realized destroying it wasn't enough. Annihilation was Vale's method, not hers. So she didn't destroy it, she inverted it. With a series of frantic commands, she rewrote its core function. Instead of erasing whispers of resistance, the engine would now broadcast the unvarnished truth. Every secret execution, every engineered famine, every calculated betrayal, every crime Vale had ever committed streamed directly into the minds of every citizen across the Crownward Expanse. Empires, she knew, are not built to survive transparency. Panic flared in Vale's eyes for the first time. He turned to flee, to escape the truth he could no longer control. But his escape was cut short. Ashael descended from the smoke-filled ceiling, silent as death. The Griffid didn't roar. He didn't speak. He simply closed his massive talons around Vale's throne pod, crushing it, and let the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space do the rest. In the aftermath, there were no celebrations. The galaxy did not erupt in cheers. The Marrowspawn were free, but their minds and bodies were broken. The Krelli would likely never sing in perfect harmony again. And the Griffids, the proud, noble Griffids, now numbered fewer than 1,000 in the entire galaxy. Nina stood beside Ashael on the bridge of her ship, watching a distant, fractured star ignite as planetary systems rebooted and reset. The silence was heavy, filled with loss. Was it worth it? She asked softly, the question hanging in the air between them. Ashael folded his damaged wings, his dark eyes reflecting the dying starlight. Survival is not victory, he said, his voice quiet but firm. But extinction is surrender, Nina nodded, understanding. The silence between fallen crowns was a heavy burden to bear. But in that silence, something new and fragile remained. The chance to choose differently. And this time, for the first time in generations, no one would rule unchallenged. The future was unwritten, and that, perhaps, was a victory all its own. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tailies from the far reaches of space.